Looking for a way to support the channel? Check out the official MTG Goldfish playmats like Fatal Scoops at mtggoldfishmerch.com/YouTube. Use the coupon code YouTube for 5% off. Hello everyone, it's Seth. Probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and we have a super spicy one to look at today. So this list, it's another Electrodominance Living End deck, but this one goes way off the rails into some weird spice, and it's pretty cheap, 247 bucks a paper, 42 ticks on Magic Online. So not a bad price, not budget, but pretty cheap, and it comes to us from Kamiakara, who took it to a undefeated finish in a small Japanese tournament. So congrats to Akara on a super sweet deck. And of course, the deck we're talking about is one I'm calling Brisela's End, combining Living End with some meld creatures. So anyway, a quick reminder before we break down Brisela's End for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Brisela's End starts off with the Wombo combo Electrodominance Living End. So basically, Electrodominance, we can cast it for 2 mana. I mean, we can cast it for more to deal damage, but mostly we're trying to cast it for 2 mana to allow us to put a Living End into play without suspending it, without waiting a bunch of turns. And then we get to reanimate everything, wrath everything on the board. So that's kind of combo 1 of the deck. So for this plan to work, the big question is, how do we get stuff in our graveyard? We want a bunch of creatures in our graveyard for Living End to reanimate. So here we have a bunch of red cards. Burning Inquiry, Faithless Looting, Cathartic Reunion, 12 cards that just churn through our deck at lightning speed. Burning Inquiry, a little bit random, but still, if we just want a mass of cards in our graveyard, it gets the job done. So these cards make sure that we get creatures in our graveyard. They also help us find our combo pieces, because unlike some other decks we've seen, we don't have As Foretold. We are straight Boros colors. So we're almost mono red actually. So we don't have As Foretold, which means we really need to find Electrodominance to ever be able to play Living End. So churning through our deck helps us make sure we find Electrodominance, find Living End. We also have one Cycler in Desert Ceradon, kind of an old school Living End trick. Just cycle your stuff, get it in the graveyard, Living End, get it back. Since we have all this drawing and discarding, we also get Hollow One, and that's kind of a cool backup plan for this deck. While our main plan is still Living End, we sometimes do just cast a Burning Inquiry, have a couple Hollow Ones in hand, run them out there, beat our opponent down with these massive 4/4s as early as turn 1, and if they're bad, we can always just cycle them away, reanimate them with our Living End anyway. So kind of a neat backup plan for the deck. As far as what we're trying to get in the graveyard, this is where the deck is really hilarious. Our main payoffs are Gisela and Bruna, the big angels, and we don't really just want one of those. Like, they're fine on their own. 5/7 flyer with Vigilance, 4/3 flyer with Lifelink and First Strike, whatever, that's fine. The big payoff is if we can get both of these in our graveyard, reanimate both of them, we end up with Brisela, Voice of Nightmares, which is one of the most nightmarish creatures in the modern format. Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, opponent can't cast spells converted mana cost 3 or less, which in Modern is most spells. That is the main way the format works, is people casting cheap spells. So Brisela locks those out of the game, probably a 2-turn clock when you account for some fetch land, sack land damage. So just an absurd threat. And we also have Urbros the Hidden, which gives all of our creatures haste. So theoretically, our Brisela's coming back with haste, smashing our opponent. If we have Hollow Ones or random cycling creatures, those come back too. Potentially just one shot, kill our opponent out of nowhere, Electrodominance into Living End, getting back Brisela along with Urbrask. So that's basically the deck. Otherwise, Simian Spirit Guide just speeds things up, lets us cast our Electrodominance as early as turn 1 if we really want to. Mana base, pretty simple, some Boros dual lands, a bunch of mountains. In the sideboard, Tormod Script for graveyard decks, which pretty popular in Modern at the moment. Dredge, Phoenix decks, Alpine Moon shuts down Tron lands, Valakut, a Braid for removal, Wear Tear for artifacts and enchantments, including getting rid of graveyard hate, which is really important. We can't let a leyline on the battlefield, or we're pretty much stuck on the Hollow One, or cast our Brisela plan, which not very good in Modern. Anger of the Gods is a sweeper, and that is Brisela's End for Modern. And that's been our instant deck for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.